Tonight, a huge discovery for the province's mining industry. Regina fire reveals the source of a carbon monoxide leak that killed a young boy. And a look inside Saskatchewan's firefighting flying machines.
Live from our studios in Regina, this is CTV News.
Good evening. Saskatchewan could be adding another game-changing industry to its natural resource portfolio. Long known as an agriculture, potash, and uranium stronghold, a new discovery could change Saskatchewan's perception. Keenan Sorokon has more.
The heart of North America.
Did you know Saskatchewan is home to one of the world's largest deposits of alumina? Near Tisdale, confined to an area about 600 square kilometers, or roughly the size of Metro Edmonton, is about 1/3 of the global supply of the chemical compound that is a key component in the making of aluminum, with hundreds of other uses. And it could be the latest prosperous natural resource found in Saskatchewan.
Do I think this has the realm to be in that scope of discussion, like uranium and potash coming from Saskatchewan? Yes, I certainly do.
Canadian Energy Metals Project Thor not only has the ability to end exporting the substance from remote parts of the world, but can supply North America's aluminum for hundreds of years, all while being a much greener alternative to the typical supply Canada uses.
We believe we've got a game changer in terms of greening the industry.
This transformational project could be the latest industry to put Saskatchewan on the map.
No rural community thrives by standing still. What defines Tisdale is our work ethic, our optimism, and our willingness to embrace new opportunities.
There's no timeline for getting a mine operational. An economic assessment backs the case for a $6.3 billion project, but plenty of work needs to happen as Hopkins works to show this venture is as viable as he believes.
In basically 40 months, we've taken a resource from completely unknown to a point where we have economic feasibility confirmed for two products, 0 to 60 in months.
Aside from the obvious benefits, speakers on Friday say the geography, geology, and geopolitical impact of this project is what sets it apart from anything else like it. Keenan Sorokon, CTV News, Saskatoon.
A carbon monoxide leak that took the life of a Regina boy in December has been traced to a faulty boiler. Regina Fire and Protective Services says the equipment has been seized and sent for analysis. As Wayne Mantika tells us, fire investigators are still looking into other circumstances surrounding that tragic incident.
Regina Fire says a December carbon monoxide leak at this downtown apartment building was unintentional, but they continue to investigate why a boiler emitted the deadly gas.
I can also tell you that we've seized that boiler, and we have it, and we're going to look to have further analysis and examination of that boiler.
The release of carbon monoxide gas took the life of 11-year-old Henry Losco. The family appreciates the work of investigators.
I think that it's important that they go to the root of what happened to this boiler, right? And we appreciate that they are out there giving updates.
Sergio Losco was found unconscious in the 4th-floor apartment. He was taken to hospital and survived. He says CO2 detectors did not go off in the apartment. The family is waiting for further answers.
Police investigation is ongoing, and TSASC is doing their investigation too, and those are all ongoing, so nothing can be disclosed at this time.
The family continues to grieve the loss of their son.
Since losing Henry, I spend a lot of time. There's a lot of guilt even going on. What should I have done differently? How could I have kept my family safe?
Henry's mother says there are important questions that tenants must ask their landlords.
What is it that's heating them? Are things up to code? Are they being maintained? Do the carbon monoxide detectors work? When was the last time they were checked?
Regina Fire says it will continue to investigate what happened in the building. Additional findings are expected to be revealed in the future. Wayne Mantika, CTV News, Regina.
A 29-year-old man from the Saskatchewan First Nation is facing several charges, including possession of fentanyl for the purpose of trafficking. Around 11:30 in the morning on January the 28th, Punishai RCMP received a report of break-in at a garage in Waymore. Officers arrested the suspect, and while the owner of the garage declined to press charges, a search of the suspect found polymer knuckles and 34 grams of fentanyl. RCMP say they cannot confirm if this is related to the drug alert issued for the Punishai area earlier this week. The man will make his first court appearance in Punishai February the 3rd. The City of Regina is looking to expand roadways, especially between the university and the fast-growing east side of the city. But as Damien Smith tells us, some groups believe that a proposed road could end up hurting local wildlife.
Conservation groups believe that McKell-Wascana Conservation Park is worth the keep.
One of the most important landscapes for annual crop production, and that has put the native prairie kind of at risk.
This land on the southeast side of the city is owned by Ducks Unlimited. A proposed extension of Wascana Parkway to Prince of Wales Drive would cut through the park, and that is a concern for the conservation organization.
Have thousands, if not millions, of different species that kind of float around, and that all feeds into the food web. Insects are being eaten by birds, birds are being eaten by mammals.
In a statement to CTV News, the City of Regina says that a road like this has been in talks since the 1980s and was reaffirmed in the 2022 Arcola Avenue corridor study, adding no conclusions have been made on the road just yet, with the city needing communication with any impacted stakeholders, and the process for awarding the project to a consultant is underway. The project will only proceed to detailed design or construction if it is found feasible and receives future city council funding.
Biodiversity then feeds into nutrient assimilation and kind of, removing pollutants, so we get clean air, clean water for society to benefit, and that is a benefit of having these upland and wetlands kind of intact.
Ducks Unlimited says that the reserve is valuable to the health of the city, preferring the route to go south of the wetlands.
One of the last remaining remnant Regina plain prairies, which is a unique feature inside the cities.
The McKell-Wascana Conservation Park is 171 acres in total, with an amphitheater, a creek dipping dock, as well as 5 trails. Damien Smith, CTV News, Regina.
Connor Chan joins us for our first look at weather tonight, and things were still really chilly this morning as people woke up.
Yeah, really chilly. The wind gusts were pretty high for what we saw today, but the good news is there is some relief coming. We just have to deal with what's to come for tomorrow, because what's to come tomorrow is going to be snow and rain and freezing rain. It's all three at once, so it's kind of an interesting trifecta that we are going to see here, but we'll explain a little bit more about that coming up later on the full forecast. Looking at today, we did see a high of -11 with our low of -19, so we're kind of back to around our seasonal averages, which is good news, though. It is a positive. Looking at the satellite radar map, we did see lots of cloud coverage over the course of the province, and some areas were a little bit clearer than others, specifically out east and southeast as well. And looking at current temperatures right now, lots of minus single digits there. And of course, with the wind chill overnight still playing a bit of a factor, but of course nothing compared to what we saw the last weekend or so. But we'll have the full forecast coming up later on in the show. Lee?
All right. Thank you very much, Connor. Well, water bombers have and will play a critical role in defending Saskatchewan communities from wildfires. But even before they leave the hangar, it takes daily work to keep them ready to fly. CTV's Stacey Hine gives us an exclusive behind-the-scenes look at Saskatchewan's firefighting fleet.
Built for extreme conditions, these planes fly low and fast, often with limited visibility. And inside the provincial airbase in the Ranch, crews keep them ready for the action. Every part of the aircraft is accounted for, right down to the bolts, ensuring they are safe to fly.
We have to take extra parameters and inspections to thoroughly look to make sure that our performance of our aircraft for the summertime is working at its max performance, and ultimately the safety of our pilots flying it.
This is the newest addition to the Saskatchewan firefighting fleet, a Q400 land-based oil-based air tanker. It's a former commercial turboprop converted for firefighting.
So it's everything normal like the plane, and then they went and added this big bomb tank on here.
Ground crews fill the 12,000-liter tank with fire retardant.
He comes in the back here of the hose, hooks it up, and then when the light flashes, then he knows he's full on the hooks, and away the plane goes.
Inside, the cabin is completely stripped. No seats and no padding, while the plane remains pressurized for high-altitude flight.
It's completely gutted out to be as light as possible.
This plane may be new, but it requires monthly inspections. Crews check for cracks in open exterior panels, a process compared to lifting the hood of a car to make sure everything is in working order. 3 more Q400s are expected to join the fleet in the next couple of years. Nearby is an amphibious air tanker, commonly known as a water bomber. The bottom of the plane is shaped like a float, with smaller floats on each wing, allowing it to land on water, while retractable wheels allow it to use a runway. Beneath the plane, 2 scoops can collect about 4,500 liters of water in just 9 seconds. On a busy day, Saskatchewan crews can make up to 90 water drops, one of the highest daily totals in the world.
Because the lakes are close and long enough and deep enough that we can just go and do quick rotations.
Inside, part of the water tank system is visible, and with a push of a button, pilots can inject the foam from this tank into the water, helping reduce evaporation during a drop. From the hangar to the fire line, the work here keeps the firefighting fleet ready to respond. Stacey Hine, CTV News, La Ronge.
It's hoped the new state-of-the-art equipment at Royal University Hospital in Saskatoon will help provide better care for cardiac patients. Royal University Hospital Foundation unveiling newly renovated cardiology suites earlier today. The foundation says the suites replace aging infrastructure with modern technology designed to improve patient outcomes and meet the growing demand for complex cardiac care. The cardiac program at Royal University Hospital provides diagnostic testing, allowing specialists to diagnose and treat life-threatening heart conditions. Officials say having a new space offers better workflow, reduces delays for procedures, and helps deliver time-sensitive interventions.
We're able to elevate care that's already being provided by governments, and working together with donors, we're able to create some really transformational and innovative opportunities.
When it comes to cardiology care, it's allowed us to provide the full service of cardiac care to the province of Saskatchewan that can't be provided anywhere else.
The cardiology suites were finished at the end of last year with 20 procedures performed per day. Well, these days, the goalie may be the most important position in hockey. Just ask fans of the Edmonton Oilers. As Mick Favel shows us, one Saskatchewan teen has a special setup where he trains to be the best between the pipes.
If you build it, they will come. The Rink of Dreams is a spot for hockey goalies with big aspirations. Tucked away on Buffalo Pound Lake, the rink has been customized with almost everything a practicing player would need. A perfect location to work on one of the most important aspects of the goaltender position.
Being a goalie, it is very hard on the mental. Like, there's lots of things, like if you let in a goal, you have to be able to bounce back from it quick. As a player, you make a mistake, sometimes it's not always seen. But as a goalie, you have to be able to bounce back and have that good mental. So that's something I try to work on a lot.
The rink was born during the pandemic, initially starting out as an area to skate. The additions quickly added on.
I was trying to find a way, like, how can I get more hockey? Why not, like, clear off some ice and put the rink out there, put some nets out there, and then all of a sudden it transformed into adding boards, adding an ice trail, adding a sauna, and it just kept going from there.
Having the rink on the ice is quite the sight, but it does have its unique quirks, something skaters have to take into account every time they get on the ice.
With lake ice, it is a lot trickier. You have to heat the water to kind of try to eliminate the cracks, but there's so many vehicles driving back and forth, so many ice shacks out here that it's just nonstop maintenance. We made a home Zamboni, and finally I have hot water, so it's been helping quite a bit.
The father and son have opened up the space to other goalies as well, with some traveling hours away to try out the rink. Although Tripp just started his teen years, he is already looking at netminding from a coach's perspective, helping younger players trying out the goalie pads to see if it's for them.
Now that we made a rink out here, we can skate whenever we want and make those little kids train and just try to get as high as they can be. Like, honestly, they start out little, you don't know if you're going to be a goalie or not. Then you start training and eventually you get to that next level.
Making dreams a reality for those who want to be between the pipes. Mick Favel, CTV News, Buffalo Pound Lake.
Well, Legacy Co-op, Yorkton Food Center, was the winner of the Kraft Heinz Grocery for Good contest. The aim of the initiative is to help support food banks across Canada. In order to enter the contest, Legacy Co-op had to purchase a certain quantity of participating Heinz Kraft products. Then they needed to scan them at the till. In their press release, Legacy Co-op said they're grateful to be selected as one of the winners. The resulting donation included a large assortment of essential items and condiments worth $2,000. It was delivered by Legacy Co-op grocery members to the Yorkton Salvation Army Food Bank on January the 27th. After the break, Pierre Poilievre is set to face a leadership review tonight at the Federal Conservative Convention. And the country mourns the loss of one of its most beloved actresses. Well, tonight is a measuring stick moment for Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre. Delegates of the party will be voting on whether he should keep his job as Conservative leader just hours after he delivers what could be one of the most important speeches of his political career. Jeremy Sharon is in Calgary with more.
Well, the busiest day of this Calgary Conservative Convention now underway here, with all eyes on a big leadership vote this evening. Delegates here selected to represent Conservative members from ridings across the country will vote later today on whether Pierre Poilievre should remain the leader of the Federal Conservative Party. This leadership test comes as a result of the Conservative Party's loss in the last federal election. It is widely expected that Mr. Poilievre will achieve a positive result. We've been speaking with delegates, some of whom know exactly where they stand already. Others aren't quite sure yet.
Do you support Mr. Poilievre as the leader?
Oh, yeah, most definitely, 100%. It's still, you know, when you go behind that curtain, it's still your private franchise, and you decide as you will at that time. So that's why I came to the convention to get a sense of what's happening.
Now, we're told Mr. Poilievre met with his caucus this morning ahead of his leadership review. Conservative Senator Denise Batters was at that meeting.
I'm glad to see that Pierre has taken that part of our process very seriously because, as you may recall, after the previous election, I had to bring a petition to try to force pressure on Mr. O'Toole to have a leadership review, and that's what I was asking for. And meanwhile, Pierre not only has the review, but has it at a very early stage.
Now, several Conservative MPs have taken the stage behind me here to address the crowd. All of them have hit on two kind of key themes. The first being what the party believes to be a positive result in the last election, a success in the last election, by increasing their seat count, despite the fact, of course, they did not form government. The other is that all of them were clear that they believe the best path forward for the Conservative Party is with Pierre Poilievre at the helm. Jeremy Sherrill, CTV News, Calgary.
The Federal Court of Appeal has overturned a lower court decision, meaning Ottawa's ban on single-use plastics will stay in place following a unanimous decision. The three-judge panel ruled that the federal government's decision to list plastic manufactured items as toxic was reasonable. The government defined toxic as substances which could harm the environment or biological diversity. In a 2023 decision, a court ruled that the federal government overstepped in its designation. Ottawa used the designation to regulate a ban on manufacturing and importing of 6 types of single-use plastics. Parties will have 60 days to ask the Supreme Court of Canada to review the decision. Bombardier shares took a nosedive following a new threat from the U.S. president over certification and tariffs. Shares for the Canadian-made aircraft dropped as much as 9% at one point. Mike Ligator has more from Ottawa.
Bombardier's Global 8000 is billed as the world's fastest civil aircraft since the Concorde. But it could be grounded in the U.S. as President Donald Trump targets the Quebec company as apparent retribution over the certification of an American jet in Canada. On Truth Social, Trump wrote the U.S. was decertifying their Bombardier Global Expresses and all aircraft made in Canada until such time as Gulfstream, a great American company, is fully certified. Gulfstream is a direct competitor of Bombardier, and industry experts point out there are reasons Canada has been holding off.
The U.S. has certified the Gulfstream 700 and the 800 with exemptions to look at that aircraft not being certified for very cold weather operations because of fuel line problems.
In response to the threat of decertifying Canadian aircraft, Bombardier said in a statement, thousands of private and civilian jets built in Canada fly in the U.S. every day. We hope this is quickly resolved to avoid a significant impact to air traffic and the flying public. But it remains unclear if the U.S. president even has the authority to decertify aircraft.
The only way that the type certificate can be revoked is if there is a safety issue with the aircraft.
Now, this is just the latest salvo in the ongoing trade war, which has seen Trump ramp up his rhetoric against Canada following the Prime Minister's visit to China.
You can't look at China as the answer.
In a statement about the threat, Minister Steve McKinnon said Transport Canada officials are in communication with their U.S. counterparts, and the Canadian government is actively working on this situation. Mike Lecouteur, CTV News, Ottawa.
The U.S. Justice Department has opened a federal civil rights probe into the death of Alex Peretti in Minneapolis. The local resident was fatally shot by Border Patrol officers on Saturday. The Department of Justice has not said why it is launching the FBI-led investigation, but insists it is looking at everything that would shed light on what happened. The department says there will not be a similar probe following the January 7th death of Renee Good. She was shot by an Immigration and Customs Enforcement officer in Minneapolis. The DOJ says there must be circumstances and facts that warrant an investigation. Meanwhile, in the Middle East, Israel says it will reopen a key border crossing on Sunday. The Israelis seized the Rafah border crossing between Gaza and Egypt in May of 2024. Reopening it was an important requirement under the first phase of U.S. President Donald Trump's plan to stop the fighting between Israel and Hamas. But cargo will not be allowed through, only people. Israel has not said how many will be allowed to cross per day. The Israelis say the return of residents from Egypt to the Gaza Strip will be permitted in coordination with the Egyptian government. Well, she made us laugh for more than 5 decades through so many beloved characters from movies like Home Alone, Beetlejuice, and of course TV shows like Schitt's Creek. Catherine O'Hara was a comedic powerhouse who left her mark on the industry. Today, she passed away at the age of 71. Annie Bergeron-Oliver has her story.
Do we set the timers on the lights?
Considered a cultural trailblazer and the queen of improv,
Kevin!
Catherine O'Hara had a rare ability to give complex and often eccentric characters depth and humanity. A craft she mastered at the famed improv theater Second City in her hometown of Toronto. She started there waiting tables.
Want to fall in love?
But in 1974, her love for acting would land her a role on the hugely successful Second City television.
Gonna be a frosty snow girl. I'm gonna deck your halls.
She had no formal training, but O'Hara's enthusiastic spirit and determination quickly made her an award-winning star in Canada.
If you don't let me gut out this house and make it my own, I will go insane and I will take you with me!
Propelling her to international fame with roles in hit movies from Beetlejuice
What the? Are you all right?
to the mockumentary comedy film Best in Show.
I sense there's something in the wind.
And the cult classic animated movie The Nightmare Before Christmas.
My bag! It's gone!
But one of the roles she's best known for, Moira Rose in the hit show Schitt's Creek.
Crocodile bag, the one my mother gave me!
Her performance in the Canadian production was met with critical acclaim and garnered her multiple acting awards.
I would love to stand up here and tell you this was all just a walk in the cake, but it wasn't.
At one of her last appearances at TIFF just 4 months ago, O'Hara thanked her longtime friend and colleague, Eugene Levy.
When I think of my happiest days in this adventure and show business, I realize most of them have been with you.
An adventure in show business that spanned more than 50 years. O'Hara was 71. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
Coming up, how a group of skiers in Kananaskis aren't letting vision loss stop them from pursuing their passion.
We're helping
helping you stay safe online. Monday on Your Morning, we're diving into the growing influence of AI and steps you can take to protect yourself. See you then.
All right, welcome back. It definitely was a cooler morning, as we mentioned earlier here in the city. We got wind gusts over 40 kilometers an hour, but of course, it's all been building up to the warm temperatures that we're going to see, and they're on their way. We just have to deal with what's to come tomorrow, and tomorrow it might not look a little bit pretty, but as we take a look right now, CTV Skycams, we get this nice shot here at the ledge. Minus 12 is what we're sitting at, and yeah, wind gusts are still pretty high there, close to 40 kilometers an hour, so wind chill is going to feel a little bit more like in that minus 20-ish, 25 range. So here's a look at the satellite radar map for what we saw from earlier this evening. Mostly cloud coverage, just kind of hanging around, and we'll go right to the radar map, because as we skip right here to 5 a.m. Saturday, I did talk a lot about how rain and snow mixes, and it is going to start pretty early as maybe 3:30. So we see here snow in parts of north of Saskatoon, and then of course snow also for Regina. We'll also see some rain as well, normal rain in the Swift Current and Assiniboia areas as well. And as we get to 10 a.m. on Saturday, we'll still see more flurries for us here in Regina. We could see around upwards of 4 centimeters of snow, and of course heavier snow expected still for parts of the north that are also going to see snow. And a lot of this is because the low pressure system is coming in. So, and what that means usually is we're going to see lots of precipitation. So that's why we're seeing kind of what you're seeing on your screen here. And like I said, up to 4 centimeters is what we could see for snow. But by the time we get to late Saturday night and into Sunday, all that's going to be moving more eastbound. And of course, the bulk of it is coming from overnight tonight, and mostly just cloud coverage expected for Sunday. And then as we get into parts of Monday, Saskatoon could also see some more snow, and we could even see a little bit of more of that coming in around that kind of 8 a.m. mark on Monday morning there. So we're not quite out of the woods yet for some snow, but like I said, tomorrow and then on Monday we'll definitely be getting some more flurries. Now, as we take a look at the totals of what we could get, I know I mentioned around that 2 to 4 range there. So 9 a.m. we'll start getting around that 2 centimeters, and as we get into the Sunday by 9:30, 3 centimeters. And if you look out on the screen, 10 centimeters expected by Hudson Bay at that time, 11 also for Buffalo Narrows, 4 centimeters in Meadow Lake, and then 2 centimeters we could see in the Saskatoon areas. And as we look to for by 12 noon Monday, we could see some up to 5 centimeters grand total over the span of the weekend. Of course, we'll see some other snow, some more snow, getting developed into areas like Maple Creek and Swift Current as well. So lots of snow expected for parts of the province. It's scattered all over the place. And as we look at the forecast, it's -6 for La Loche, -6 for La Ronge for tomorrow. We'll see snow there up north, and then -2 in Prince Albert, along with Lloydminster. 2 degrees in North Battleford, 0 in Saskatoon, and -3 in Yorkton. As I mentioned, it's going to be the story for most of the province. Lots of precipitation, whether it's snow or rain or freezing rain or all three. 4 degrees in Swift Current, 3 degrees in Moose Jaw for tomorrow. So some warmer temperatures down south, 3 in the Assiniboia, 2 in Weyburn, as well as in Estevan. For us here in Regina, -8 overnight. And as we get into tomorrow, that winter mix there of rain, snow, expected to begin, like I said, early morning around that 3:30 mark, and that'll kind of carry over into the day. The rain's going to kind of stop a little bit later on into the late morning, and then we could see some flurries throughout the day. Now, as we look at the 7 days coming up here, as I said, so -6. Let's go skip over to the Sunday there. -6 expected there with mostly sunny, mostly cloud coverage, -5 for Monday. As I said, we could see some snow around that area. As we look ahead to Monday, -1, things are going to clear up a little bit, and then of course we'll see some positive temperatures. As you can see, I did promise warm weather. I didn't lie. We still have it. 1 degree for Wednesday, 3 degrees on Thursday, as the clear skies are going to continue to emerge. A little bit of cloud coverage, and as we get to Friday, -1. So, Lee, it's not going to be too bad. We just have to get through the Saturday and then even Monday with a bit of snow. But like I said, warm temperatures are on the way.
Morning to wake up tomorrow based on what we'll see, but Sunday shouldn't be too bad considering.
Yeah, not too bad.
Well, dozens of blind and visually impaired skiers from around the world are in Kananaskis, Alberta this week. They're taking part in an annual event to connect others who understand the challenges of living with sight loss. CTV's Mark Villani has more.
Matt Jans is visually impaired, but he's never let that stop him from doing the things he loves.
For me in my life, it's always just been a constant puzzle of how do I keep doing this stuff.
And it's a puzzle being solved by more than 80 participants with limited to no sight at the William Watson Lodge in Kananaskis. The 48th annual Ski for Light event aims to break down disability barriers and build a stronger community.
You know, I haven't had to advocate for myself one time this whole week, which is a huge load off my mind, because everyone just understands what I'm going through. I understand what they're going through, and then we just are instantly bonded. You ski lots in Denmark?
Sven Mogensen is one of those people making new friendships. He's found a new passion for cross-country skiing after losing his vision at a young age.
I feel free. I have the liberty to move without having physical contact with somebody else.
Meanwhile, Ruri Takeuchi came all the way from Japan as a guide for blind skiers, hoping to learn more about how to help others.
I want to make a business for special needs people.
There's amazing people here that have no vision, and I'm blown away by how well they function independently.
And this woman brings new meaning to independence. Tracy Musso is legally blind and an amputee, but she's adapted by learning how to sit ski on the trails.
Use your arms and your core to move. If you really enjoy skiing, there's always a way to get around it.
We're here to ski, but we build community here. And it's not just about the skiers, it's about the volunteer guides who show up.
Curving right here, curving right. You get to know what they need to know to be able to have a good time on the trail, and you can adjust yourself to their preferences.
That trust and support is what makes all the difference.
And that's when you really start living your life again.
Mark Villani, CTV News in Kananaskis.
Still ahead, Riders VP of Football Operations and GM Jeremy O'Day talks free agency with the negotiation window opening up on the weekend.
We've secured a fair number of our free agents, and I don't think you're ever really super comfortable with the roster at this time of the year. But I think going heading in the right direction. It's a challenging time when you have that many free agents to try to retain as many guys as you want. But we feel pretty good about where we're at.
Some key pieces from the championship team still remain without contracts, including Canadian linebacker A.J. Allen, running back A.J. Ouellette, DB C.J. Rivas, and DN Malik Carney. O'Day admits he's in a difficult position to bring every guy back, but the negotiation window can be a useful time in the process.
It's just another tool for both the team and the player. If they can't reach an agreement, that they can utilize that window to kind of come back and say, this is what the market is, and are you willing to do that? And if not, then you'll have to make decisions.
In the second half for Winnipeg, play action fake. Polaris buys some time. Intercepted. DeMarcus Fields.
The Riders also announcing today a 2-year extension with defensive back DeMarcus Fields. The second-year Rider had 57 tackles, 2 sacks, and a forced fumble, playing halfback on the wide side. His signing means C.J. Rivas is the only player from the starting secondary in that Grey Cup that has yet to be re-signed, although the Riders, for the majority of the season, played with a Canadian at that safety spot. Well, next Friday, the Regina Pats will honor a former forward and 2-time Stanley Cup champion with Chandler Stevenson bobblehead night. Stevenson was a captain playing from 2010 to 2014 with 73 career goals. The bobbleheads go on sale on the west side of the concourse. When the doors open, quantities are limited. As for tonight, the Pats travel to Swift Current to battle the Broncos. The Pats have won 3 of 4 from Swift Current this season and are in a battle for the final playoff spot. The Broncos, after losing 16 straight, have steadied the ship, winning 2 of their last 3. Game starts at 7. Also tonight, the Moose Jaw Warriors host the Edmonton Oil Kings. University of Saskatchewan women's basketball team remains undefeated after knocking off the U of R Cougars last night. Huskies are the top-ranked team in the country. Cougars ranked 4th. They have a record of 15-2, not bad. Dominant second quarter was where the Huskies got things going, outscored the Cougars 23-5, and that was really the difference. Cougars couldn't close the gap. Saskatchewan won 63-45. Now the Huskies have won 47 consecutive games dating back to November of 2024. The record for consecutive wins belongs to the University of Winnipeg, who has won 88 straight games from 1992 to 1995. Huskies head to Regina Saturday for the rematch. Saskatchewan's top athletes were honored as the province celebrated excellence, dedication, and inspiration in sport. The 41st annual Saskatchewan Sport Awards were given out last night. 6 recipients were named in excellence categories, including male and female athletes of the year in Saskatchewan. Regina's Taylor Barth was named Male Athlete of the Year after winning 2 gold medals for Canada at the Special Olympics World Winter Games.
I'd like to thank Special Olympics and SAS Sport for the nomination of being the winner of the Athlete of the Year award. I want to thank my parents and my coach Rick.
The event.
Star Savannah Sutherland of Borden was named Female Athlete of the Year. Other awards handed out including Coach of the Year, Team of the Year, and additional recognition honors. Still ahead, a canola research center is being built in Winnipeg. Time to take a look now at your rural forecast. So as I said, of course, lots of snow and precipitation for most of the province, and that's going to be pretty much the same as we look at some numbers here. -1 for tomorrow in Spiritwood and -2 in Meadow Lake with some snow, and we'll see more snow further out east there in Melfort and Hudson Bay, and a little bit heavier there as we take a look now to some areas like here in Maple Creek. 7 degrees tomorrow, 3 in Leader, Rosetown, and East End Cypress, and then of course we'll see a bit of rain expected for Assiniboia at 3 degrees, 2 in Rockland, and 4 in Conorack, and then we'll look more further eastbound. There, of course, is some snow expected with Lumsden, Pilot Butte, and Carlisle all sitting at 1 degree, and then -4 for Kenora. So looking at, and of course, Broadview at 0. Now, as we take a look at Raymore, where internet speeds up to 1 gig are available from SaskTel. Tomorrow, -12, or -12 is what they're sitting at for tomorrow there, and of course, we are going to see those temperatures kind of get a little bit better as we are going to see things get a little better, like I said, and of course, lots of that rain and snow mix might be a bit of a problem if you are traveling, so make sure you are checking the highway hotline before you head out, and enjoy the weekend, despite all the snow that we're going to get on Saturday. A multi-million-dollar canola research and development facility is being built in Winnipeg. Pharmaceutical company Bayer says it's spending $45 million for the new operation, which will house seed development, work for canola, camellia, and winter canola. It will also focus on seed quality analysis.
It will also include critical elements to our canola pipelines, like trait integration, packaging up for all the yield trials that we seed across the Canadian prairies every summer, and a lot of the genetic work around improving genetic gain and ensuring that we can bring the best possible canola hybrids to market for Canadian farmers.
Bayer notes its current Smart Park site at the University of Manitoba will continue to do early breeding for canola, while its Carman site will focus on being a nursery field for multiple crops. The exact location for the new facility has not yet been finalized, but it's expected to be operational by the end of 2028. All right, let's take a look at your canola prices. Street price is down 50 cents to $598.53 per ton, while the futures price is down 60 cents to $648 per ton. Amber Durum wheat, no movement, $274.92 per ton. Red spring wheat's up 53 cents to $256.58 per ton. Feed barley, no movement, $213.59 per ton, while flax is $650.54 per ton. Those prices courtesy of Bunge. At the markets, the TSX dropped a lot by 1,000 points. The Dow Jones dropped, not as much, but did drop to 179 points. As for the Canadian dollar, it went down a decent amount, almost 0.7 cents to 73.46 cents U.S. On the commodity front, gold down $481. West Texas Intermediate crude up 38 cents, while Western Canadian Select crude was up $2.07. And gas in Regina right now is commonly found for $1.19.9 per liter. Went down slightly once again.
A steep stumble for the TSX. It was swept up in that downward spiral of gold and silver prices. Spot gold had its biggest drop in decades. On Thursday, an ounce was selling for $5,450 U.S. By the end of the trading day today, it was under $4,900. The price of silver fell more than 25%. Both move opposite to the U.S. dollar, which gained strength after the American president announced a new pick for U.S. Federal Reserve Chair. The Canadian economy was at a standstill in November. Statistics Canada points to a small decline in the production of goods, which was offset by a small move up in services. The manufacturing sector was down 1.3% in November, in part because of that semiconductor shortage that limited production at a major vehicle assembly plant. Tariffs are a big weight on the auto sector, and they have cost CN Rail as well. $350 million last year. The railway still managed to squeeze out a revenue gain of 2%, but its 2026 forecast disappointed analysts, and that sent the stock down. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
Coming up tonight after the newscast, Celebrity Wheel of Fortune, followed by Happy's Place at 8 o'clock, Stumble at 8:30, a show about my newscasts, Boston Blue at 9 o'clock, and then we've got Big Bang Theory E-Talk, and we've got your local news at 11:30 with Connor once again, filling in for weather and news. K-pop Demon Hunters is up for several honors at this weekend's Grammy Awards, which feature several crowded categories.
She a fan, he a flop, they just wanna kumbaya, nah.
Kendrick Lamar is leading the field with 9 nominations, and those include the top 3 awards, album, record, and song of the year. He's joined in those places by Lady Gaga, who's tied for the second most nominations with a career best of 7. Also competing in all those top categories are big names like Sabrina Carpenter and Bad Bunny. The 68th Grammy Awards air Sunday at 8 p.m. There's always one winner that the internet just blows up over about, wow, they should not have won.
That is not happy. And Bad Bunny, by the way, if you don't catch him this weekend, you can catch him next weekend.
Yes.
Halftime show for the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah. That'll be a good one. Sweet Street has come to a bittersweet end as Minute Maid discontinues its frozen concentrate.
Yeah, Minute Maid's parent company, Coca-Cola, says it will discontinue the frozen juice cans in Q1 of the year in Canada and the U.S. The decision was made due to shifting consumer preferences towards more popular juice products. The company says fans of the frozen juice will be able to buy cans in store while inventory lasts.
I remember that growing up, actually. Like the orange juice, really wasn't a huge fan. It has like a weird aftertaste. So.
Right, yeah. I never drank this, but I know I had a lot of friends that are going to be extremely disappointed that that's going to happen. But yeah, it's the way of the world. Have a good night, everybody.